Hey, welcome back to The Current on the Course. We are being joined now by the man who makes all of this happen, tournament director Andrew Lehman joining us. 5th year as tournament director. Congratulations. Do you still get pre-tournament jitters or first day nerves?
I didn't sleep Sunday. I'd love to tell you it was nerves, but I think it was more excitement than anything. And it's just awesome to see all the people out here, all the vendors, the volunteers, the entire workforce, and it all comes together. And it's just such an unbelievable week.
As James was doing his forecast, I saw you sort of perk up, hands on the hip, paying attention to the map. Certainly, that's always something that you have to think about. But the heat, obviously, really present every single day. Is that posing any challenges for you guys?
We really want people to be out here and be safe. Make sure we're hydrating and staying in the shade. Fortunately, we've got all kinds of trees out here to seek that. We've had an unbelievable breeze that has been blowing through the golf course. And honestly, when I see that map that he had up, I would much rather have the heat than the rain. So we can deal with the heat. The rain makes things a little more challenging.
Mm-hmm. We've been talking a lot about all of the different ways that the tournament is helping fans stay cool. But something else the tournament does is try to make things bigger and better and improve it every year for the fan experience. What are some things that you're super excited about for fans to experience this year?
Well, we've brought the Fairway Club out on Saturday, obviously America 250. Just all the things. The fan zone has a new look, air-conditioned space where people can get out of the heat. A lot of fun activities for kids in there. We just had the Savannah Bananas here today, which was, super cool. And they brought down the youth clinic up there and had a ton of fun. So, it's our responsibility to make sure that there's something for everybody. And we feel like we do that with golf and all the activations throughout the golf course and things like that.
We'll talk about the Savannah Bananas here in just a second, but I'm curious, when it comes to all these ideas that you're trying to integrate into the Classic, do you guys just have more ideas than you can possibly implement in 1 year, that you're just like having to choose which ones to do?
We write them down, we put them in a bucket, and sometimes you have to pull them out for another year. Obviously, budget constraints might stop some things, but our motto in our office is there is no such thing as a bad idea, and even though it may get put to the side 1 year, we may go back to the think tank and figure it out and try to bring it to life. So if you're not evolving your event, you're falling behind. And what we really want to make sure that we have out here is something for everybody. And whether you're a golf fan, you're a music fan, you're just a fan of being at a live event, we want to make sure that it's fun. And obviously, we know that people are bringing families out here, and we want to make sure that we can keep those kids entertained while they're here too.
Right.
Okay, you talked about that bucket of ideas, though. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but am I remembering this? When the first concerts in the course happened, it was kind of like 6 weeks before the actual tournament. How fast do some of these ideas come to life?
Well, I remember taking the first phone call on spring break about the concerts, thinking to myself, there's no way. And then we got into the early part of June, and it was like, we're really going to do this. And I remember being on Saturday evening and looking at my staff, and I kind of locked our tournament trailer and said, hey, we just need a moment to kind of gather and figure out. And I remember walking out behind the clubhouse here and saying, what have we done? And then standing there at the end of the night and saying, that was really cool. So here we are in our 4th year, and I wouldn't say we're concert experts by any means yet, but we're getting pretty good at it.
How excited were you about booking the Savannah Bananas and being able to bring them out?
Well, that was a process that started back in November when they announced the schedule and that they were going to be in Iowa City our week. And, they've been great. They've been fun to work with, obviously, super talented and fun. And to have them here today, not only to play in the Pro-Am, it's been a hot day for them, but then they put their jerseys on and go up to the driving range and entertain all those kids. I mean, what's not to love about that? Fans first.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew, I want to talk about you for a second. I remember reading an interview that you did back in 2023 where you were talking about being in sports management at Iowa State and how there was 200 people in your class, and now today maybe 20 of them are still in sports. What keeps you so passionate about this profession and this tournament?
Obviously, lifelong sports fan, lifelong golf fan, but more than that, it's the people, and it's the impact that this event has on this community, from our charity number to our economic impact and all the great things that happen in this Quad City region as a result of this tournament. So, obviously, job opportunities have come my way over the last 20 years, but what's kept me here is the people, and John Deere is hands down the greatest title sponsor on the PGA Tour, and then it's the impact. And it's a unique assignment. We work 51 weeks to get to 1 week, and it's like a gigantic wedding. There are things that are going to maybe not go as planned, but we just want to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward and making it such an enjoyable experience for everybody when they come out here.
Okay, well, my wedding is in a few weeks. If you guys want to start planning some of that stuff for me, I could use the help.
I got married 18 years ago. We'll see what I remember.
Perfect.
All right, last question for you. We have less than a minute here. This looks great. We look at this great success, but do you define success a little bit differently, a little bit more nuanced?
We do. Obviously, there's numbers involved. This is an event where we have to be a little bit more mindful of our budget. It's a small staff. We're very nimble, and then ultimately, when we get to the end of the week, we're going to crown a world-class champion. And when we get to October and we get to give all that money away, what's not to love about that?
Awesome. Andrew Lehman, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for everything you're doing to put all of this together for us and the fans.
Well, we appreciate you guys being here.